So this picks up so
ready?
well. It doesn't pick
I'm
up
gonna say
anything.
1, 2, 3
No, I'm professional.
for both of us. 1, 2, 3.
All right, Joffe, go ahead and start us off whenever you are ready.
Ready? Hello, guys. I want to welcome everybody to Nightshift Uncensored. My name is Joffe, along with my hosts David, Carlos, and Will.
Hello.
Collectively, we have over 100 years of experience working the night shift. Today on our show, we have Kimmy, Verona, and Angelina. This is going to be our episode number 1. I hope you guys enjoy our stories. Let's go. So, Angelina,
Yes,
what do you do for a living?
I'm a stripper.
Say it a little louder.
I'm a stripper.
How old are you?
26.
26. How long have you been doing that?
Since 17 with a fake ID on and off.
How did that first day go? Did you just,
It was a
were you
go-go
at a normal
club.
job and you just decided one day that that's what you needed to do?
At 17, I was a CNA illegally for my friends. So I was wiping old people's asses and feeding them and stuff. So I went to a go-go club, and that's where I danced for the first time. I wear like the fuzzy boots and
What's
stuff.
a go-go club?
So we keep full bottoms on, like bikini, and you wear like furry boots, and you're just like bouncing around.
It's like a go-go dancer.
Yeah,
And Skogo Club.
yeah. But it was a strip club, like a pole. But
Yeah.
with go-go bitches on the stage.
Gotcha.
And then it
So how
just
did you get to here? Where you at currently?
Divorce and,
Yeah,
found my way here.
gotcha. Glad to have you.
Thanks.
What has surprised you the most about the job? Like, obviously everybody has an idea of what the job is going to be like, right? So what was your idea like? How were you proved wrong?
Well, it tricked me. So I got used to the go-go shit at first. And then I became a stripper after. And I was like completely different.
So at first you were going to be a go-go dancer, and then you ended up being a...
A stripper, yeah.
Rana, what's your background?
Okay, so I'm Colombian. I've been dancing for maybe 2 years, 2 years now. And I do the dancing at night, and then I work for a tech company during the day.
What kind of tech? What do you do?
Like we fix any type of electronics, phones, computers, and then we'll do like software fixes. We'll do offsite jobs, or
So
I guess on-site for
Which
them.
came first, the tech or the dancing?
No, I've always liked tech stuff, but then I was super broke. I was working like 4 jobs, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna go try. Okay, so this is what I did. I was like, what can I do that I have more time and I make more money? And I was like, that's kind of hard to do. I already have 4 jobs, so I was like, okay, I can either sell drugs or I can go dancing.
So how the drug sales go now?
No, didn't even try it. I didn't even hop into that. So I got onto YouTube and I googled how to be a stripper.
Oh, wow, that's
And
funny.
then I watched a 10-minute video on like what to pack in a dancer bag. And I was like, okay, I think I got it. So I got all the things I needed, and then I went to
So you didn't have a friend or anything like that?
it was just me.
Just you?
So I went
Okay.
to go buy the clothes, and I wore like a cocktail dress and some shoes, and I'm like, all right, we're good to go. So I googled the most like shitty club in Charlotte.
Uh-huh.
Or can we say Charlotte?
You can say
okay. In Charlotte, and I was like, okay, like this is the one. It has 2 stars. So I pull up.
What
in
was
there.
the reasoning behind?
Wait,
to
because
get the shittiest-
if I went to a good club, then I would stand out, and they'd be like, "Get out of here," because I've never danced or anything.
Right.
And so I go.
But
in.
you have the moves.
Yeah, I was like, whatever. Never got in a pool, but I think I think I can do it. So I go in, like there was someone maybe smoking crack in the parking lot. I was like, this is the one. This is the one. So I walk in, I'm like, can I work here? And they're like, have you ever danced before? And I was like, no. And so they're like, let us get the manager. So HR, like hiring manager, I guess not HR.
I doubt it was HR.
Man, a guy smoking crack in the parking lot. They had HR.
So hiring manager comes out, and he was like, he just gave me the up down. He's like, yeah, come on, let's fill the paperwork out. And I started.
There was paperwork.
I mean, sign away that,
Yeah.
this is your dancer name, this and that.
And how long ago was this?
That was like 2 years ago, I would say.
And I'm sorry I didn't ask earlier. How old are you?
I'm 24.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So how long did you stay at that club?
That night I went in, I was like so nervous, and there was the girl giving me the walkthrough, and I was like, so I actually have to dance on them? She's like, yeah, like I'm not gonna hold your hand, I'm not gonna sit next to you all night. I was like, got it, okay.
So they didn't tell you like how things worked?
No, I was like, they're like, just dance. This is how much you charge for the dance. So I was like, okay, I got it. So I made like $800. So like, this is awesome. This is all my jobs combined in one night. And then I like never went back for 8 months because I I'm so scared. But that what was the question? My bad.
No, you were just telling us how you got into this.
Oh, yeah.
How you got into this.
What do you think? So now that you've been in it for 2 years, what's the biggest misconception about strippers, dancers?
I think that it's like they're all like bad people, because I've met some really great people doing it, and I feel like I've picked up a lot of like qualities and things that I can carry on into my regular job that I wouldn't have got if I didn't go to dancing, like how to like, you know, be assertive and not take no as an answer, because then you won't pay your bills. I used to like, okay, now I'm like, oh shit, I need it.
How about some true stereotypes? Anything that like, you know, like it was exactly like you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, like when I was at the kind of not so great club, let's call it the 2.0, the 2-star,
We'll
yeah.
call it 2-star.
The 2-star. When I was at the 2-star, they always said like, you know, the stripping life and all that, it comes with the drugs and like just the crazy stuff, you know. And so that was actually true. So one day I went to the bathroom and this lady was smoking crack in it, and she was like, "Do you want some?" I was like, I thought maybe she's smoking weed. I was like, "No, I'm good." And the smell wasn't that good. I was like, "Okay, you know, she's hitting it out of a pipe." And I just looked back. I was like, "I should get out of here." And that's when I left that club. That was the final straw for it. That was like, okay, let's
So
gradually.
not
move
only
up.
is crack in the parking lot, it's also in
Yeah,
also
see,
in
like
the
it wasn't sure it was in the parking lot, but that confirmed it for
Yeah,
me.
okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
So it's interesting because I never really heard of anyone when they were looking to be a dancer to look it up on YouTube, you know. And it's been mostly like, you know, my friend or, you know, just kind of heard that dancers made some money. What would be like the biggest advice you give somebody that's trying to break into the industry? You know, like as far as like, you went in that direction, right? Like with yourself looking it up. Would you advise that, or what would you?
I say doing it that way. Like I didn't go into it with any friends or anything, and I think that helped me be a little bit more confident and like, okay, well, if I go to work, I don't need to make sure my friends are there. But it also it gave me like the full picture. No one held my hand through it.
Yeah.
But so you kind of get the pointers and stuff. Having a friend would be nice. You know, it's like, okay, like they're kind of going to show me the ropes, whereas just throwing into it, you don't know what to expect, you know? So either way, it's just your type of person, I guess.
So now that you have only 2 jobs, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. How does that work? Like the two, they're so different, right? You're working.
Oh,
with-
they're so different. Okay. So,
Well, can I before we go into that, can I ask you how you got the tech job?
yeah, so
Did you go to school for that, or what?
no, so I've always liked
She
tech and
Googled it.
everything.
YouTube.
No, what's this?
And I've always been into like the cybersecurity ends of things, so I'd watch YouTube for that too, you know, like how to do.
YouTube junkie, aren't
No,
you?
YouTube is great, you know. And so one day when I was dancing at the Mediocre Club, Club 2-star,
Yeah.
as we like to call it, a guy came in and, you know, no one was, all the girls were like, we already tried him, he's not getting any dances. And I was like, okay, well, I kind of like a challenge. I'm like, okay, everyone else he said no to, let me see if I can crack him. So we were talking and he said he like had a degree in computer sciences. And he ended up being like a really good customer for me. He'd always come in and spend a good amount of money.
They'll talk about computers and things.
Yeah, and so one day, I needed my phone fixed, so I went to his store, and he was like, "Hey, do you want a job?" Like he knew that I kind of liked that background, and I was like, "Okay." So we started working together.
Okay.
But it never got weird. Like it never got weird.
Yeah.
He stopped coming in after that,
Yeah.
and so
So you
Great
lost him as a
position.
customer, but
lost
he gave
him
you
as
a
a
job.
customer. He gave me a job.
So he's still paying.
Yeah, still paying me, but like it's like
Give
a
us services.
respectful
Give us
like work
services.
manager.
No, that's good. That's good. So he
Now,
was
Kimmy,
respectful.
Kimmy, I've known you for a while now, but I didn't realize the other day we were talking that you said you've done a lot of traveling.
Yeah,
So-
I actually started dancing in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2015.
That was your first experience dancing?
Yeah,
Okay.
I danced in St. Thomas,
Okay.
the U.S. Virgin Islands.
It's got to be different, right?
It's a lot different. I mean, most of the clubs are urban clubs.
Yeah.
The club here that I work at, I mean, it's like a gentleman's club, so it's a little different. They play different music. I mean, it was fun though.
How did you? So you're originally you live where in this?
Charlotte. I was born and raised here in Charlotte.
And then how did you end up in the Virgin Islands dancing?
This is like a crazy story. I mean, I've actually only told like a handful of like customers
Can't
how I
wait.
started dancing.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we.
That is what we're here for.
So, oh my God, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. So, the year that I started dancing was the year that I had a baby. She was born in January, and I mean, I wasn't making that much money. I was like a waitress, and her dad wasn't helping, and so I'm just like, I need something to make money. Like this cannot be it. And so I'm just like Googling online like ways to make money when you're hot and young.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Literally, that's funny.
YouTube and Google.
I mean, it's there for that reason.
Right.
But
That's going to be the title of this podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
Money when you're hot and young.
Yeah.
That's the episode.
That needs to be a T-shirt.
But like one thing that caught my eye was like an Instagram. I forgot. It was like the Billionaires Club or something. And I'm like, oh, Billionaires Club. Okay, cool. So I reached out to the woman that was like running the page, and she was like, yeah, like I manage a lot of like models and video vixens and blah 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 and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm down, what's up? And so she's like, you need to come see me in Ohio. And I'm like, well, I don't have any money, like I can't just fly to you. And she's like, well, can you drive? And I was so desperate, I literally quit my job as a waitress and took like whatever money I had and put it towards gas. And I drove my little, I had a Toyota Corolla at the time. I drove it all the way to Ohio. So I drove like,
not knowing shit. Like you just
yeah,
fucking
like, I could
talk
have
to
been
this person
kidnapped.
online like that.
Yeah,
like,
I could have been like
by email
she
or on
could
the
have, like,
phone or
took
what?
my organs.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't advise that.
Yeah, I totally do not advise that. Especially
Nobody do that.
how crazy people are. But yeah, I drove, and she was like, actually, I need you to pick up my friend in Philly.
Oh, okay, it's good. I guess.
Yeah.
This is getting worse,
Like
isn't
a
it?
madam.
No, like every day I think about this, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't die. Mm-hmm. But like I drove from North Carolina all the way to Philly and met this complete stranger who actually was from St. Croix, one of the islands that I dance in now. So I picked her up. We stayed in like a dingy hotel overnight, and then we drove to Ohio to meet this woman. And then
What happened?
she introduced me into the craziest things. She was into like dominatrix.
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, like there's like all these men that come in and they pay you to like get beat up. And I was like, what? I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I was kind of shy at first, but then she had me sit in during some of her sessions. And some of these sessions did traumatize me. I mean, she would.
Wait, how did they traumatize you? What were you seeing?
You can say.
See
You
it.
can
Say
say
it.
it. Yeah.
say it.
Absolutely.
It's uncensored.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
Oh my
she's
God,
probably-
my
Don't be
heart
shy.
is, like,
Don't be
beating.
shy.
Like, I can't
Really?
believe I'm
It's
saying this.
somewhere in
It's us.
Ohio.
Take a drink.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers.
like
Cheers.
okay, like maybe
Yeah.
you guys might get a drink after
Cheers.
I say it.
Cheers. Yeah, right. So how bad was it? Let's hear it.
What she do?
So one of her first clients was like an older man, and he walked in with a briefcase. And so immediately, like, my heart started racing. I'm like, is he going to kill us?
Oh my God.
And she's like, no, he's regular. And I'm like, okay.
He's a regular.
So I'm like, all right. He opens up the briefcase, and it has, like, nothing but what looks like surgical equipment.
Oh shit.
Oh,
shiny.
shit, some soft
Scary
shit.
movie
Oh, this
shit.
is getting.
Yeah.
This
And
is
so
getting.
I'm like, oh, my God. Cachet, what the fuck?
Cash. Is that her
Her name
name?
was Cachet. That was her,
Even better.
her
Her
name.
entertainer name.
Yeah.
Entertainer name. Yeah.
And so she's like,
Did you want to like walk out of there or what?
think
I mean,
you were
I
in
was
it at this
nervous,
point.
but like I don't know. I have like, I don't get scared, but I'm just like, oh my God, in my head. But I'll sit there the whole time.
Yeah.
So
You probably need to change that.
Yeah.
Listen to your intuition.
So we got
anyway.
circle it
Hey.
with the cachet. What's going on
Yeah,
with
what
cachet
happens?
and the tools?
So basically, he's like, I want you to do stuff to me, and I'm like, okay, well, Cachet, you do it first. And so she's like, no, like let him lead, and then like you can join if you want to. And I'm like, okay. So he pulls out like a long rod. It looks like something you could stir a drink with. So it's like this long, it's metal, and it has like a little ball on it.
It goes in his pee
And
pee.
so
Get down
yeah.
the shaft.
And shove it in his
He
dick.
took some
What's it
blue-
called?
He stuck it down the shaft.
Exactly.
He put it in his pee hole.
Yeah.
How big was that
They all-
thing?
It was like this long.
Oh, wow.
I've seen
They're
it.
like the
It's always
size
like
of
this big.
like a
A Q-tip?
Q-tip.
It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know about those.
That is not. I did not know about that
Angelina-
stuff. What the
Angelina,
He
hell?
was out of it.
Oh,
Okay, so what happened?
He was like, I want you to stir it. Like, I want you to stir it. And I was like, I was so scared. I was like, I don't want to do it.
What is
It's like,
wrong
I was
with people?
nervous. I was like, it's going to hurt you. He's like, no, it's going to feel like a massage.
Oh wow.
So, like, I had my pinky up. I was just like,
So you got to keep your etiquette. You know what I'm saying?
it was so bad. Like, I only did it for like 5 seconds, and I felt like I was going to gag.
Yeah.
So what did that pay?
At the time, I know I got paid $800. I don't know how much he paid her. So I got paid like a smaller percentage just because I was just sitting in.
$800
enjoying.
bucks.
Yeah.
Or 5 seconds of stirring.
Big money for that. Big money for that.
But I mean, she's had other clients that like were crazy. I mean, she had like one guy who was considered a pay pig.
Hey pig.
that?
What's a
Yeah.
big pig?
So he's considered like I guess most of the time an older man that basically gives you all of his money. And he thinks that he thinks women are superior. Men.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Financial.
Financial
dominance.
dom.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
I've had that before one time.
I've heard about that.
And so
That
like,
is crazy.
but I mean, like she'd abused the fuck out of him,
Or his account.
both physically
What kind
and
of
financially.
what kind of money was he dropping?
I mean, you could ask him like, all right, we need to go to the store right now. Give us $1,000, and he'd have to send it immediately. And if he didn't, then like when he'd come back and actually see us in person, like she would literally beat his ass, like, and then put him in timeout. And so like we'd write
timeout?
pig, like he'd get naked, yeah. So he'd get naked and take a Sharpie and write on his whole body like slut whore. And one of the things that he liked, one of the things that he liked was
Wow.
being humiliated.
Yeah.
So he actually liked to dress like a sissy, like wear wigs and nurse outfits and like go to the drive-through, and he'd like, hey, call all your friends and like let them laugh at me. I want people to laugh at me, and I want you guys to make fun of me. So he enjoyed this.
Wow.
But I mean,
It's a real weird culture, isn't it?
is
I had a
weird.
customer once that was a pay pig, and he came to me because he was complaining about them draining his account. But it was weird because he didn't want me to like try to get the money back. He just wanted to complain. Like it was like, they drained all my money. I don't know how much.
He wanted to feel like he was doing something.
and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, well, do you want me to try to get the money back? He was like, oh no. I just want to know when I get some more money, when I can come back.
Oh, so what do you say? Like, how do you respond?
I just looked at the idiot and I was like, whenever you got more money, man, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, because
We're here. We're here.
Because some
We're
of
here.
those
We're
girls
here.
will be like, you
Yeah.
can't come back
Yeah.
until you have this.
Right, and that was his
So
worry.
the guy's like, oh my god, I can't come back.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
my god.
yeah, like they literally.
Like
just
he
buy
couldn't
into
get
it.
his fix because he was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get more money, but as soon as I can I come back? And when can I, if I get a little bit of money? And you were like, whenever you ready, man, whenever you ready.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
And people get desperate. I mean, I've heard like, that story through a girl that was like, we were helping the guy fill out loan applications, to get cash because he was like just running out of cash. I'm like, what?
like selling their houses type shit. That's crazy. But I believe it though.
Yeah,
I believe
mean,
it too.
it's like a lifestyle for them.
for sure. Okay, so then from the dominatrix, how did
Cachet.
So
she put you on the islands or?
yeah, so she had actually danced out there like for 15 years. So she was actually older. She was like 32 or something. So she started very young. And she was like, you can come work in the islands. But the thing is, I didn't know that we were going to be dancing. I was actually very naive to the whole idea of dancing. Like, I didn't even know what strippers did. I didn't even know about dancing. So she's like, yeah, you're just going to go and entertain rich men on yachts. You can just, like, dance and party with them, and, like, you'll get paid. And I'm like, okay, cool. So basically, she had the owner of the club fly her out. And the night that I was supposed to work, she's like, do you have any lingerie? And I'm like, no. I have like a bathing suit. She's like, well, you need like a thong or something.
So
And
she wouldn't tell you like exactly what you were getting
no,
into?
she
You were just
literally
like, come
threw me
along?
into the club. Like fresh meat.
Was she an attractive lady?
No. I mean, she was like heavy set.
Okay.
She actually was a pretty face though.
Was she getting a
Real
cut?
good.
She was
Not
dancing.
once I was in the club. once she was doing the dominatrix stuff, like that's how she made her money, and like I made a little bit. But once I started dancing, no. I mean, when she found me like good customers, I would, you know, tip her and stuff like that. But my first night, she basically put me on the stage with like the biggest girl in the club, who's actually my best friend now. Yeah. And I was on there with like a bra and panty set, didn't even match. It was like a Kmart set.
Yeah.
And
She said Kmart. That was a long time.
yeah. Kmart is actually still open in the Virgin Islands. It's like the last 3 in the whole U.S. But yeah, I made like $60 my first night. I was so shy.
That's totally different.
The bartender was like, "What do you need?" They actually called me Ling Ling out there because I was Asian.
Wow.
But they're like, "What do you need? Do you need some Coke? Do you need some
Ling
weed?
Ling.
Do you need some liquor?" Because I was so shy.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to do.
You were shy, but you didn't speak at all, or you was kind of like to
I
yourself.
mean, I was just like, I didn't know what to do. I was just sitting there like,
I need this
"Hey,
money.
guys," you know.
So what's dancing in the islands like? Is it like, I mean, more like whorehouses, or is it just like strip clubs like in America? Because, you know, you go all over the world.
Right.
I mean, there's different rules everywhere you go, you know?
Yeah.
So-
Different cities,
It
different
depends
rules.
on the club, I feel like, because I mean, in the islands, there are whorehouses. Like in St. Thomas, there's one called Hala Hala. And I mean, being the first Asian girl to dance out there, like they've never really seen Asian girls. Customers would come in and are like, "Do you work at Hala Hala?" And I'm like, "No," like completely offended. Like, "Are you serious? I'm here." But
They want the happy ending.
yeah.
From Ling Ling.
Sorry, like I'm only here. Sorry, I don't do that. But it's fun. I mean, there's a lot of money, I feel like, being thrown versus working in like gentlemen's clubs in the States. There's more staged money out there sometimes. And I think it's because of like the amount of drug dealers that are out there. You know,
There's
when
a
you
lot
think
of
about the
drug dealers?
Caribbean, there are like a lot of big drug hubs. So they always have a lot of cash, and drug dealers, you know, they're affiliated with just like throwing money all the time.
Yeah.
That's what you think about when you think of drug dealers in a strip club. So
But you've also danced in Africa, haven't you?
yeah, recently.
What was that experience?
I did it twice. It was fun. The club was pretty upscale, very organized. I mean, they treated us well. They did take 30% of everything. So they took 30% of stage money too, which every other club never did.
But they fronted everything, food, room and board, and everything. Right?
No, not initially. I mean, the first time the owner did fly me out, and I didn't have to pay for like my room and everything. But the second time, yes, I had to pay rent. Just like the Caribbean, you have to pay rent if they board you and stuff like that.
So if you, when you come from out of the country, do you have to follow a specific schedule once you're there?
Yeah, so I noticed that like in the U.S., you don't have to really follow a schedule versus clubs in the Caribbean and like out of the country, they were most of the time they give you like 5 days a week that you had to work, and you basically work open to close.
What do you think that is? Is it because there's just not a lot of women that?
Yeah, I think that.
And does everybody have to obey by that schedule, or only
Yeah,
foreigners?
everybody. I mean,
Even
like,
the locals,
yeah,
local
like
dancers.
the home girls, they would do 5 days a week too.
Okay.
So basically, you'd have to just talk to the managers and say, "Hey, like I need this day off." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they're taking that much out of your pay, is it worth it at that point?
Well, for me, when I was in Nigeria, it was just because, for one, like I'm traveling for work, so I would consider it like workcation. Like for one, I'm getting to see like another part of the world. It's really cool, experience the culture and the food.
I get it.
But there's also a lot of money out there. You know, there's oil money in Nigeria. A lot of politicians that would come into the club. A lot of celebrities that would
No
come into the
way.
club.
Did you go there by yourself?
No, I went with my best friend. Yeah. So.
Like, that's a ballsy move to go to Nigeria by yourself.
So
She
do you
did
do a
it.
lot of traveling within the States, or?
No,
Kinda-
like before my daughter was like in school, I was dancing mainly in the Caribbean.
Okay. So now when you dance in the United States, you dance in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's
Have you traveled in like other states and have you experienced
I've
that?
never tried it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
That's
never
the
even been in
Caribbean,
another strip club
Af-
in the U.S.
So just Caribbean, Africa, and North Carolina.
Yep.
That's good.
Why is that? Is it because you have an exotic look that they normally don't have in those clubs? That helps you make money?
Yeah,
or?
I think that definitely helps.
Yeah.
I mean, here, like, I love the club here. Everybody's respectful. The girls are friendly. I mean, in the Caribbean, the girls are not always friendly.
Okay.
They will bully you. I mean, I don't know. In the club that I work in here, everybody's always nice. There's like not one mean girl that I can really name.
Yeah. So
But
what do you
I've
like?
heard
What
about
is the what is the thing you like the most about being a dancer?
Being a dancer, the freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, the freedom. I mean, you can make enough money to where you can enjoy your time with your family, your friends, whatever you want to do, as long as you're responsible with
How
it.
do you treat it? Do you treat it as a job? Like you have a schedule you follow, or you just come in
Recently.
whenever, or you
Yeah.
make enough money and then you bounce? Like how does that work for you?
No, I mean the past couple, like 2-3 years, I've had a schedule, so I'll designate like I started working day shift a year and some change ago, and it helps to schedule that time with customers too. Like, hey, I'm only here Thursday, Friday,
Okay.
and then maybe Sundays if I feel like it, you know.
So you only work 3 days a week?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
That's
You got
pretty
that
cool.
3-day schedule.
3 days a
Yeah,
week,
I like to
6
stay home
hours
a
a
lot.
day, 18 hours, 18 hours a week.
Exactly. Like, when I imagine myself
and you're
doing
making
that.
how much? I mean, average.
Definitely over 5 figures.
A week?
More than minimum wage.
It's okay. You get to how
I'm, like,
much?
comfortable with like talking about it. I feel like
That's
you
all
should never
good.
really tell people how much you make.
Right.
You know?
Okay, just if you're a dancer, what can you expect to make if you are diligent and you have a schedule and you are about your money?
Definitely 6 figures.
A week?
Not a week.
Like
a
Okay.
week.
For the
You
year.
got
Definitely make
100,000 a
5
year.
figures a week
Yeah.
though,
Yeah.
like easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that amount like?
Like
Tell me an amount. 5,000 to 10,000
I don't think she
a
wants
week.
to disclose.
I mean, like for a week, I would say if you're like wanting to dance and you're like willing to work hard, you could make like 3,000 to 5,000 a week a goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Verona, what's the most you've made in a night?
In a night, I would say the most I've made, like from the time I walk in to the time I walk out.
In your career?
Your
There
biggest
was-
night ever.
Your biggest night ever.
4,500, but
God damn.
yeah, but that was me working with a really good friend of mine, and we did that in
Y'all do some stirring?
2 hours. No, we didn't do. We left the stirring out. That's gonna be that would be an
The
upcharge.
nutcracker?
She's a little queasy.
She won't.
She
I'm the
won't even
reserved
come.
one. I'm the reserved one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
She's-
that was like wow.
So
to
she's
me.
the stirrer and you're the.
I'm just kind of.
What about you?
So
How much? What's the most you made in one night?
I mean, I've had a great California. Like when I used to be like 19, 18, I used to dance in the hood clubs, and I think I had like close to like 11, 12,000. But it was once like dancing all
Okay.
night, stage. I used to do pole.
Yeah.
I'm not like that no more.
Back to Verona. So the 4,500. What was the time frame that you made that money in? The 4,500.
Do you remember the night that I had told you I had some friends coming in?
Oh,
And you
the
remember?
dancing.
Yeah.
Like an hour. It was an hour.
Yeah,
It's an
it was
hour?
about an hour.
1 hour.
And I
About
cut it
an hour,
short.
yeah.
I act like it was an hour
Like
when we leave.
1:30. Yeah, so an hour 30 minutes maybe, but it was around an hour. Like party a little.
It got
so-
wild.
This is kind of a personal question, but how does it feel to do a lap dance?
It's really good. Yep. I remember I said I have my alter ego, so when I'm at work, I'm a whole different person.
Yeah.
But it's like, if they're cute, it's okay. But when there's like a stinky Indian old man that smells
Oh
like,
my God.
oh my God, when they smell like chili peppers, I'm pretty sure all strippers have had that one Indian experience, and I've never gone back. you know the
bad
ones
for
when they
even
come in,
relating.
and
I think it's BO, not
It
not
was-
chili
no, it's
peppers.
like curry and armpits and balls. And you can they walk past me, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to that. So yeah, it just depends who you're with. I try to stay away from the attractive guys though, because I gotta stay in my work.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because then it'll turn into a date. You're like, hey, you don't keep the money.
I'm making up for
That's
the both of us,
funny.
baby.
I'll take you on a date. I don't need that.
That's funny.
So you
Have you ever dated a customer?
No.
No. Okay. So what about you? How does it feel to do a lap dance?
I mean, like because it's work. I kind of what would you say? Unattached? Is that
Yeah,
the right word?
or detached.
Detached.
Yeah. So you have like obviously a work persona,
Yeah.
and then you have a you know,
Just yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of get in character.
Yeah, so I guess I kind of just detach from it. But it really always like brings you back. So one time I was giving this guy a lap dance, and he was like, "How does it feel? Like, doesn't it feel good?" And I was like, "How does what feel? I don't feel anything." Like, and he's like, "Ouch, that really hurt my feelings." And I was like, because he was doing too much the whole time, and I was like, "I got something for you."
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? I was like, "Yeah."
That's funny.
So that brought me back. I thought it was funny, But he was a good sport about it,
Yeah.
And they laughed about it too. So I'm like, okay, like this isn't that. When you can laugh with the customers, it's like, okay, this is cool, even though like we're kind of being inappropriate, but this is still fun.
We know what it is.
What about you? What about you? How does it feel to do a lap dance?
I like it. Actually, every single time I go to work, I try to imagine myself getting paid to party.
Okay.
So I try to have fun.
So you also have to do kind of you have to feel like any kind of way before you go to work. Like you have to prep yourself. Like, okay,
For me,
today
it's
is gonna
the
be
music.
Mm-hmm.
So like I listen to all types of music, and it helps being a dancer because when I hear a song, I'm like, oh my god, I know the words. I love this song. Let's do a dance.
Oh, okay.
And then like I just imagine myself like, do just dancing.
Yeah.
I mean, every now and then I do have like that customer that I am uncomfortable with, and then it does feel like work.
What
And
makes it
so,
uncomfortable?
There's some men that like you really just don't like, and they're cringy.
Like their
for,
vibe, or
yeah, like their vibe or the way they act, the way they think, the way they talk to you. I mean, they're cringy to the point where it's like they just even like touch you like that. It feels like a cockroach just touching you.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, I need a shot.
Well, that probably has to do with people's vibes and energy.
Yeah,
you know,
it
like
is.
you don't vibe with everybody, even on the street at a normal exchange.
Yeah.
So in that situation, you're sort of forced to be in each other's space, and it's like, no, I don't like you, dude. You're weird. I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Sometimes I'll like just get up and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go walk around. If I'm really not feeling it, sometimes it's not worth the money.
I know David's talking about dancing, but I do know sometimes entertainers will come to me and say just the conversation was hard. So what's like the hardest thing you've had in a conversation with a customer where you were like, I can't do this?
It happened this week. I'm sitting with him and we're having a good time. He was like, yeah, so I have a really big dick. I'm like, oh yeah? He's like, yes, the size of this beer bottle. I was like, oh yeah? He was like, yeah, you want to see it? Not today.
What is the least part of your job? We talk about the
What do you
what
mean?
was your favorite part? Right? You like the freedom. What about you?
My favorite?
Yeah.
The freedom, and then the fact that there's no cap out. Like, you're not gonna, when you're at a salary job, oh, I know I'm gonna only make X amount, but when I'm here, it's like, okay, like
Yeah.
there's no
Sky's
limit.
the limit.
Yeah, there's no limit. So I like that. But then the least favorite, like you said, how much freedom there is. So like sometimes I'm like, oh, I can make my own schedule, and it's like, oh, I haven't been to work in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you don't work
like,
much.
It can work against you.
Yeah. So
What about you? What's your least
Yeah, the
favorite?
freedom. So if I'm mad and want to stay home, I can say, fuck y'all, and stay home for a week. Come back and be like, hey, love you guys.
Yeah.
Actually,
And
you
what is
work
your
a
least
lot.
favorite?
What's the question again?
What is your least favorite part of your job?
Oh. The guys that just be nasty, like the hard dicks and shit. I'm wanting hard
Unless
dicks.
they're cute.
Unless they're cute.
Do you guys document how much money you make, or do you just like when you come home, like do you count it? Do you have a process? Like when you come home, do you count it immediately? Do you write it down, or are you just like, it's the 28th, 29th of the month, I got rent due, let me go to work?
I only do that when I'm having an amazing week. So if it's like 1,000. But when it's like 500, I don't write it down,
I forget
do.
this week.
I forget
You
this shit.
survived.
Do you, Verona, do you write it down?
Yeah, I have to. When I first started, like going from not making anything and working those 4 jobs, I was a budgeter. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm making so much money. I was still budgeting, and I was just making a lot. And I was like, oh yeah, like what's the point? And then I like was behind on my rent one time. I was like, it was like the 3rd. I was like, oh shit, you got to get it together. So I just went back to budgeting it out, and it's
Writing
helped
it
a
down.
lot.
Yeah, I write it down.
You
every
have
day.
to write it down.
So do you guys have like a retirement plan, like IRAs or anything?
With my day job.
How about you guys? You got saving for your future? You got plans?
I have
some
a
plans.
savings. I actually use my mom sometimes. I save money with my mom. because I'm scared to always ask for it back. So I was just like, here, just hold this for me.
That's a cultural thing.
Yeah, like a little short, you know,
Like different types of saving money. Like I call it my ghetto ways of saving.
But do you have a mattress?
I overpay my bills.
Okay.
So like I'll pay my bills like, you know, if my bill from Duke Power is like 160, I'll pay 200. So then like the next month is like negative something.
I like that.
And then I'll still pay it.
I need to do that.
And then I'll pay like my mortgage, you know, like every 2 weeks, you know, when I can, obviously, you know, so that way, you know, you have rough times.
Speaking of culture, you mentioned culture. How does, and this question goes for all three of you, how does your family, friends, acquaintances, do they know what you guys do? And if they do they treat you any different? Or are they
About to find out.
I'm
just kidding.
Most of them already know.
Sorry, Dad.
Most of them already know. Like, I'm pretty open about it. I mean, I have like a public page as a dancer,
Nice.
just to connect with customers that I don't want to connect with on a personal level with my personal page. So
You treat it as a business then. Good for you.
yeah, I mean, I'm able to, like, I do the OnlyFans thing. I'm not completely active on it, but I mean, I do as much as I can to write it off. So actually, even like with my phone account, it's a business account. So I write it off because I say that I talk to my customers using my phone.
Absolutely.
But most of my family knows. I mean, both of my parents know that I work at the strip club. For me, like, I feel like I like to try to be real. And also, like, I feel like, you know, I drink a lot, so I don't want to get caught up in a lie.
Right.
So everybody knows, yeah.
Okay.
What you guys?
Well, like, where is this going?
That's a no.
Wait a minute. Like, how big are we talking? Like 10,000 or? Are we talking
Sky's
like
the
10,000?
limit. The sky's the
Jesus
limit.
Christ.
I mean, we're hoping to go viral, you know.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah.
Grandma. So like my main circle, like they know, you know, and then of course if I have a lot of friends in Charlotte, so if they come in, they'll be like, wait, like they'll be like, and they'll use my real name. They're like, is that you? I was like, oh, it's Verona here, but it's me. You know what I mean? So my parents, they do know because I was moving one time. My friend, he was helping me. We're unloading everything. We were actually talking about you. I won't say. Can you leave it out, Joffe?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're talking about you, Joffe.
He doesn't care.
Remember my friend that does the interviews on TikTok?
Yes.
He's pretty big. So I was like, you still got to come in and do the interview. He's like, yeah, for your manager. We were unloading the U-Haul truck, and I was putting all my stuff in my parents' garage till I moved to my new spot. Sir? And he was like, yeah, your manager at the strip club, right? And my dad's in the garage, and he's just looking, and I'm looking at my friend. I'm like, no,
You
at
just
the
fucked
bar.
up.
I was like, at the bar, right? And I'm staring him in his eyes. I'm like, at
He's
the
like,
bar.
nah, this
He's
strip-
like, no, the strip club. And I'm like, so I have something heavy in my hands. I can't even signal. And my dad's just looking at me like, are you kidding me? And he walks in and I'm like, you idiot. He's like, oh, I get what you mean now. Like, never mind. I was like, he's like, should I try to save it? I was like, it's too late.
Yeah.
So after that, he kind of knew about it.
Oh, but
know?
you don't touch
You
the
never
subject.
asked about it, though?
I mean, we didn't touch the subject.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he
So it's unknown
So like,
truth, I
I'm
guess.
basically a bartender.
Yeah.
You need to know.
about you?
basis.
What about you? People, do you care?
Because I had social media. My mom ended up seeing it one day. And she was just like, I'm not watching your fucking kids if you're going to be a stripper. But now she does.
Okay. You pay her well.
Yeah, I pay very well. Tips, too. She loves it.
Yeah.
My kids think I work at Walmart.
Your kids think you were at Walmart.
You never hear me in the back. I'm always like, they're like, can you show me around Walmart? I'm like, no, everybody's getting dressed.
So as a dancer, what's the craziest things you guys have ever been faced with? You know, what's like what is the craziest shit that's happened while you worked?
This is my favorite.
Start with you.
I don't know where to start. I think I told some.
I mean, tell us what is the craziest story you've ever faced with?
Ooh, okay.
I mean, because the
You got
stir
plenty.
thing is
I got
pretty
a good
crazy,
one.
but that
Let
was
me tell you. So I was married and found out some infidelities and stuff, and hadn't been with a man for 6 years. So I traveled. I'm gonna bleep out the state.
I love this.
So you know the story.
I
So I'm
love
gonna bleep
this
out the
story.
state because it's a very popular person. But I worked at one of the biggest clubs in this bleep state. And he threw a lot of money at me. We buy, but they had him prepped up in the VIP section. So he was sitting. And basically he invited me over on one of my last nights. He's like, oh, drive to Bleep. I get on the highway. I'm walking on, damn, I'm gonna just say California. I'm walking on stars. So I'm like, oh my God, I've never been here. He opens these fucking doors in an electric wheelchair, y'all. Like, me. So he was paralyzed.
Oh, you just couldn't see because
They had him sitting up. They propped his legs. Like, and he's like in the club throwing money.
chilling.
So at this point, I'm like, I'm locked in. I'm already took an X pill. I drove all this way. I hadn't been with another man, so like, maybe it still works. So I'm texting my friends. I sit on his lap and he's wheeling me down the hall. And I just let my legs cross. I came with no panties, like all hot, and I'm just like, I gotta do it. I don't want to be an asshole. So we get there, a nurse opens his apartment. She's like, do you want help in the bed? He's like, nah, I got it. Y'all, we get there. He's like, prepping his body, y'all. And then he like electrics the bed up to sit up. He's like, sit right here. So I'm ass in his face. He eats my vagina for a very long time, but it's like very, like he's into it. And I'm trying not to touch his dick. I didn't want to be rude. I didn't know if it worked yet. So it goes so long. He's like, I got something for you. So I'm thinking he's finally pulling out condoms. He pulls out the cheapest plastic dildo. And for, I don't know how long, it felt like an hour. He's like, and we're sweating. I took an exhale, so we're sweating because I'm faking it. I'm in character. He's drenched in sweat. So, yeah. To speed the story up, now he's sleeping. I had to rub his back. He has a scar from the back of his head all over his butt crack. I give him a massage. And now I'm uncomfortable. I want to go to my hotel. I leave with 2%.
She said, now I'm uncomfortable.
Now I'm uncomfortable. This wasn't cuddling sex. I'm like, on X, I'm like, damn, I got to go home. Like, go to the hotel.
Savage.
So I leave on 2%, y'all. I'm in fucking California, and I've never been there. And I'm driving for the first time. I was married. He drove me around. So I ended up taking like 6 hours to get to my hotel, which should have only been an hour drive because my phone was dead.
No.
Yeah, you're like, got made it.
What about you? What's the craziest story you?
The craziest story. Okay, so at the 2-star club that I worked at, that's where all the crazy stories.
Yeah.
There was it was a slow night, and there was this older guy that came in. Like, he kind of resembled Santa Claus, and he was very old. Like, he came in with his cane. And,
Is it Pissy? His name Pissy.
It might have been
J.
Pissy. I think it's Pissy J. So
PC Jet.
Yeah, no
he
one
had a nickname. Okay.
Yeah, so no one was saying hi to him. Obviously, I didn't know his nickname yet. Like, had I known, maybe I wouldn't have gone over.
Yeah.
So I go over, I sit down, and I'm like, hey. And he's like, we're talking, whatever. And I'd been there for 10 minutes. So, after that 10-minute mark, it's time to get up and keep moving. And so I was like, one more time. I was like, hey, do you want to do a dance? He's like, I don't do dances. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to walk around. He's like, no, just sit with me a little longer. And I was like, okay. And he's like, can you do something for me? And I'm like, sure. Like, what is? I thought maybe he needed a water assistance to the bathroom. So he's like, can you just spit on me? And I was like, excuse me?
Like in his mouth?
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. I don't offer those services here. And I was about to get up and go. He's like, $40. So I turn around. I was like, it's a slow night. Spit on you? And so I like, hawk spit on this. And I was like, all right. And he's like, yeah. He's like, can you rub it in? I was like, oh. I was like, I don't know about that. He's like, $40. I was like, okay. I'm rubbing on this old man's buttoned up like plaid
So
shirt.
where did you spit on him in his face?
I mean, that was disrespectful. I'm gonna only spit like, come on.
On his chest.
Oh, that was disrespectful.
That's crossing a line.
So you open up his chest and
so he did it. Well, he wanted it on the plaid shirt, So we put it right on the plaid shirt, just kind of rub it in a little. So I did that about, I don't know. I walked away with 240 after all the spit. And so the reason I walked away, I would have stayed, but I had walked away because he was like, "Can you spit in my drink?" And so I was like, "Okay, I'll spit in your drink. I don't have to touch it." And he's like, now lick the rim. I was like, "Sir, I'm out of here." I don't know which rim you're talking about. So that was the story.
What about you? What is the craziest story? You have a few, I'm sure.
Yeah, I feel like there are too many stories.
Like, we got to hear one from Nigeria and then one from America.
One from America, there's like a guy that comes into the North Carolina club and he asks, I didn't do it because, okay, so basically he would come in, maybe you guys might know him because he still comes in sometimes, but he was like, I want to pay you $1,000 if you can shit in my mouth. Actually, I have text messages from him.
Yo.
No, I literally
go to
have him
cookout.
saved in my phone.
Give me 2 hours.
Okay, but you gotta think about the logistics.
True.
No, I can't. I don't even fart around my friends. I don't fart around anybody.
Women don't fart.
Exactly.
The
Like
hell they do?
I will never fart around anybody on purpose here. Like ever. I don't care.
What if I paid you $1,000?
I won't do it. Like I'm too embarrassed to do it. Like I feel like as a dancer, I'm making.
So they asked you to literally. How were they expecting this to happen?
He was like, I'll pay for the hotel, and I actually want it like.
Oh, okay. So they didn't want it
twice
to.
a month.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
He was like, I want it twice a month. Like he was like, you can choose preferably. I can't even say the word.
Preferably.
Maybe every Thursday. Like he was like making it count. She's like, yeah, I like Thursdays.
That's a perfect thing to get shitted on.
Is there like a diet plan? Like there's something that you're supposed to eat before? Like
Yeah, so
It's
he
keto
told me.
poop.
He told me. I was like, why do you like this? He was like, well, I think that women are better than men, and I think that I deserve it, and I actually want you to eat something that will give you diarrhea. I want you to seal my mouth.
Jesus.
He was like, I
Oh
want
my
you to seal
God.
my mouth closed with your butt.
oh man, that's
And I
a
was
lot.
like, I can't do that. He's like, well, I figured I could ask you. I'll give him the shot because the first girl that did it was Asian. And I was like, oh, okay.
And I loved her poop.
And you know, Asian
Never
poop.
forget.
No,
Asian
like
poop's the
fish
best.
sauce and shrimp paste on it.
so you got the details, so you must have considered it.
Yeah, I mean, because
Because you got like the conversation continued,
He
right?
would still buy dancers. I actually
Thursdays are
have like
slow.
messages from him on WhatsApp
Call
and
and
like.
ask me still down. Just for the
No, I can
podcast.
show you guys. Like one time, he was just like, "So does my offer stand?" And I'm like, "No, you're not worthy enough to put your mouth on my butt."
My
And he's
butt.
like, "Oh, so the same goes for like shitting down my throat."
Oh.
And it's literally right here on my phone.
But I heard
Like,
he
I'm not
offered a
making
girl
shut up.
8,000. So how much he offer you?
He only offered me 1,000.
Yeah, he offered another girl 8.
Did she
So.
do
Yeah.
that for 8,000?
I would.
No, because she couldn't figure out the logistics.
Wait, so how?
Like because she was like, okay, so how does this work? Like, are you gonna be like laying on the floor when I walk in?
You know, they have an actual
Like-
device for it.
bathtub. So
Yeah, it's like, okay, what do I do after I'm done? You know.
That's
Oh
a
my
box.
gosh,
They
I
have a
couldn't do
box.
Oh, you know
said there's
I
a-
know. I was
okay.
gonna say. Actually, that was so. One of my customers, they have a box.
She said, I've done this before.
Oh,
Oh,
not
you've
poop.
done
Pee,
it.
yes,
Oh,
not
okay.
poop. 8,000, I will. But it's a box, and you lock their wrist in
Whoever
it,
you
and it's
are.
just a little hole for their face, like a toilet seat. So that way they can't.
So
touch
they're
you.
literally inside of a porta potty.
They sell that. It's like $500. Nice little box.
By
Wow.
like a kid.
You sit there and just,
You sit on.
yeah.
So you don't have to do any of the cleanup or anything like that. You just kind of
Absolutely not. You unlock them.
No,
and you
shit and go.
The customer does all the cleanup, bro, with his mouth.
they probably loved it. He's like licking it up like a little ice cream cone.
Yummy.
Oh my god.
Chocolate.
So
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if I can ask you guys a question, but
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
going to.
Yeah, of course.
Do you guys have customers like a crazy customer story with you guys, or do they ever invite you to
Of course
party
they
with them? Like, how does that work? That's a crazy things for you, like your highlight story.
I think this whole podcast concept came up because we have so many stories.
I can
between-
imagine.
I mean, like we should probably just end each episode with one story each.
Yeah, we have time. We have time for one.
I'll
story.
start just because it
Party
adds
with
with
customers.
Okay.
with what you guys are talking about, and I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. So all the alcohol has to be up at we ask 2:15 by 2:30. Everything has got to be up.
Hey, Joffe, pull it close to you if you can.
So all the alcohol's got to be up. I'm walking through the club and I see this girl walking up the stairs. I'm like, "The fuck are you doing? It's 3:00." And I grab the glass, and when I grab it, it's warm. And I look at her, and she looks at me. I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I can just tell by the way she's looking at me. I'm like, I'm not even gonna ask. So she walks upstairs, and I just walk right behind her, and I hide behind the corner, and I'm just like, and I see this dude just take it to the head. And I'm like, that's like
Bottoms up.
bottoms up. And I'm like, that's not the kind of guy. Like, if you had a stereotype and character profile, that ain't the dude you're thinking is going to drink a fucking 40 of piss. He was like a good looking dude, and he was just like, and then I found out that she's like, oh, that's nothing. I pooped in a napkin before, and he's paid me to eat it. And I'm like, that's too much. I'm pretty sure it's the same.
Sounds
Has
like
to be.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, I think it's a thing. So
It's
it
a
could be
thing.
could be
It
different
is. I
people.
don't think
though.
it's the same
Yeah,
person.
and it's I from what I read because when I heard about that, I just couldn't fathom that somebody would want that. I mean,
Man,
I've
I
seen
feel like I haven't
golden
lived.
showers. I've seen golden shower, like people like that shit.
common.
But it's the woman that likes the golden shower more than the man. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, I mean, probably both things,
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatchamacallit, the girl from City Girls.
Yeah.
Right?
My,
Yeah, she was saying that she liked
said
to
she
be
likes that.
peed on. Yeah.
maybe in the shower. I've never had it done, but I might like it.
I mean, it's
I
warm.
like it.
It's warm.
No.
Yeah.
You'll try anything
Sir,
once.
I was
warm.
expecting-
Carlos,
Try it
what's
at
one of
least
yours?
once, you know.
What's one of your stories?
I can't come up with one.
Will.
We'll have.
We got
Oh,
we got
God.
time. We got time for one more.
Yeah, one time for one more. So, the customers going upstairs. This guy looked like he was rolling his ass
In a
off.
VIP.
Right, he was going upstairs to VIP, rolling his ass off. Him and another buddy, and They went and sat in a space. The waitress took them to a space, and she came and got me. And she said, got this customer. They want to hang out upstairs. A little bit fucked up, but it's going to be a good deal. We've got some girls. So we're walking up to the space, and she's in front of me. And she turns left into the space, and she screams, "Oh, my God," and comes running past me, almost runs me over. And I look in the space, and the customer's got his pants down to his ankles, right? And he's just going at it.
Ah, no.
Going at it.
I know what that
jerking
is.
the shit off, right? I was like, sir, like, put that down. Like, I don't know. What the fuck are you doing? Right? So this is what was funny about the story is that, shit that happens, right? But so he must have been like almost there. Because I was like, if you don't fucking stop, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. And he looked at me and he contemplated it. And he was like, fuck it.
Laughing or were you mad? Like, how do you?
I mean, I was perturbed. I just thought about my mom thinking about what I do for a living. So I was like, you better fuck it. So I stepped towards him and he was like, ugh. And he pulled his pants up. And I was like, you gotta go, man.
So he came on the floor?
No, he didn't. He didn't, but you could tell he was almost there.
Dang, he ain't come on you, did he?
No, he ain't come on me. Then he'd have been knocked the fuck out.
Will said 8,000.
I need that box.
No, I gotta get more than that, bro. I'll be like, I need your fucking black card,
that's traumatizing,
Yeah.
Like, you'll have to live with that forever.
I think we finished the deal, actually. Like, he put his pants on. His buddy was like, please
Don't kick him out.
stay. He's gonna sit in the corner. He was just there.
No, I'm pretty sure you left at 2 that night.
Yeah. I probably didn't leave. I'm like, fuck this shit.
He ended up coming at the end of the night.
So that's one story, but there's a bunch.
All right, guys. So I feel like that was an amazing first episode. I want to thank our beautiful ladies, Kimmy, Verona, Angelina, my co-hosts, or my main host, David, Carlos, Will.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Nightshift Uncensored. Stay tuned for very, very more amazing stories. Have a good day.